hot movers today. All right. Yo, 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 yo! What's going on, peoples? How's everybody doing? Shred. Alright, let's take a look at the watch list and then we'll get this pate going. Alright? So first thing first, what do we always want to do in the morning? We first look at where things are going with the QQQs, right? So we've got ourselves a slightly flat open. You know, we were kind of gapping up pre-market, now we're fading back. It's really just taking us into the range of the previous day. You can see over here, like we are just flagging out here for, like another run. So we've got ourselves like a good, old-fashioned bull market over here. The market should break out any day. It's just a matter of when at this point. Things to always remember is in absence of news, the markets tend to drift higher, right? In absence of news, the markets tend to drift higher. What would happen to the market, right? If we hadn't heard any China stuff this year, or, interest rate stuff, right? Right? The market just tends to drift higher. So we are very close to a breakout at this point. Even if we have down days in the market, it doesn't necessarily matter as much due to the fact that even on flat days or down days, like the market is like having sectors and particular names really shred hard. So I like the overall look of the market. This is a good market to be adding swings and overnights also. Dude, you got to have everything going. Let's take a look. Man, this AMRX is... boom, 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 boom. Good. So this AMRX is 32%. 32%. Look at this. You're clearing this level over here. So you got yourself one test, two tests, three tests going up. I mean, this may have a chance on it. Now, this is not like, when you think of like high flying small cap stocks, this is not like some of the ones like a TCCO. What's the main difference? Anybody see what's the main difference between a stock like TCCO that goes from like 2 to 10 on some kind of gap and AMRX? Does anybody know? Or got an idea? What's the big difference? Well, the big difference on this is like this is basically a $14 million company, right? So it's like the smallest pump or buying pressure will set it off and then dump it. AMRX, for all intents and purposes here, if you look here, it's 133 million share flow. So this is basically a $1 billion company. You can see the market cap here is $1 billion. So this is not like a super low flow, small cap. A lot of the pump and dump type of names, they're like at $3, $4, $5 million market cap. Like your local Taco Bell has more market cap than some of these. So a lot of times like this one, it'll grind a little bit more. Like, it may break here and hold, but like once it starts to move, like you're not gonna get like $2-3 intraday candles like you would on a TCCO or anything like that. But definitely probably worth a watch. This one's probably gonna be a little bit easier to trade for the most part. So you can put that in. You can see TNXPs over here. This one is just, anytime you see this, like, see, like when they start doing the reverse splits, these are just a pump to just kind of get it going. These things, this one is going to be very hard to keep together. You can see their float is 700,000 shares, and the stock's only $1. So this is like not even your local Taco Bell. This is like your local finger painting store. They don't got anything going on. So you guys, you can put stuff on your watch list if you like to lose. Yeah, this is just a little pump. Like they don't got anything going on here. So I know a lot of times like you get really excited. You're like, man, this could be the one. It's not the one. LMPX. Now this is an incredible shred, but this one actually at this point is probably a little bit more of a short than a long. This is exhaustion gap today. I'll have to check to see if I have borrows on it, but this one looks like a rubber band short at this point. Anytime you get something that's up like 15, 18, 19 days right at the open, right at IPO times, like that's usually, that's a little aggressive. Usually on these type of IPOs, you do have to call ahead to your broker or just go in their live chat. You pop in, say, yo, you got borrows on this. They may have it, they may not. CN, you know what? This thing's going to move thick. It's got actually pretty good range pre-market. My issue on CN, like this is not my type of play. It's just stuck in range. Like if it kind of broke over the 200 SMA, maybe. But that's another dollar away. And this is not like a hugely shreddy type of stock. I give that a B minus. Like you could probably put it on your list, but it's not necessarily, it's not hot. PRV, junk, MTNB, junk. Yo, in this market right now, it seems like some of the higher price stocks are the ones that are actually shredded out. Like see this? Nah, I don't see anything. Like, what are you gonna do with this bad boy? Form factor raises, Q4 financial outflow. That's nice. It's in the right sector. Like this thing probably can move, but like if you look at the average ATR on this, that's your average true range on this. It's not necessarily like a stock that has a history of making like multi-dollar moves. So when you're looking at stocks, like what you want to really always be doing, like, okay, so say a stock has earnings, you read the earnings, they look fantastic, you look at the chart, it's a nice trender, it's breaking out, but then you have to ask yourself, like, okay, like, does this stock actually have any history of making moves? Like, sure, it's had a great year. Look, it's up 75, 80% in the last so many months, but it tends to do it like in a slower manner, right? So this is more of like a swing trading stock, not necessarily a day trading stock. There's stocks that are great. They could net you 20, 30, 40, 50%. They just could take a while, right? They could just take a while. As day traders, we need to be in that kind of hot heat, right? That's where we got to definitely go with this. Okay, so junk. Okay, let's look on the downside, see if we have anything, and then we'll go into the regular stock list. So in terms of just like regular stocks, there's so many stocks on the watch list right now anyways, that we don't need no gappers. That's, there's a million stocks running around. This love seat, this we actually probably want to put on our watch list if it's got liquidity. It's already gone from $50 to 14, so I don't know how much more juice it has. Usually you get like, this is the first leg, this is the second leg, this is the third leg, fourth leg, fifth leg. So what are the odds you start a sixth leg? I find that like when you think about like, when you're shorting or longing, the first 2-3 legs, the first 2-3 phases of a stock's downtrend or uptrend, while it's fresh, are the most powerful. Once you start getting into like the fifth phase, the sixth phase of a stock's uptrend or downtrend, it's not a fresh trend, and so you lose a lot of the range and also a lot of the explosion. Same thing right now, like as stocks are coming out of bottom, really focus in on like stage 1, stage 2 of a stock's leg as it's starting to come out of its base or its accumulation phase. If you're looking at a stock at, stage 5 or 6 on the sixth leg up, yeah, like you're gonna have a much sloppier range, right? So always kind of focus in on fresh legs on a stock. We may get a little scalp on this thing, but the liquidity stinks. It's only a few 100,000 shares. You don't need to see much liquidity even in the pre-market. The only reason that I want to put this thing on the watch list is, man, I love beanbags. Like, don't you ever just like want to just like get naked and just sit around on a beanbag, like a velour velvet beanbag all day and eat pizza rolls and play video games? Like, that just sounds like a nice thing. But these Love Sacks, if you go to Love Sacks website, they got like $1,000 beanbags. And as a guy that loves beanbags and wants to rub himself all over one, I ain't paying no $1,000 for no beanbag. Shit. So for that alone, we short it. We teach these people a lesson about these overpriced. Then they got the double beanbags, like where you could sit on a beanbag with another person. Now, I don't know about you guys. I don't want to sit on beanbag with another person. Beanbag is for vortexing or like, getting like black lights and really kind of going back to the 90s. Like you get your black lights going and, you got some music going and you're just like hanging. A beanbag is not like a dual person thing. Like, could you imagine like you're like with your girlfriend and she's like, you're like sitting on a beanbag with her? That don't look fun. That don't look fun. We short this thing. Just for that, it just sounds like a stupid thing to put two people on a beanbag, especially next to a hairy Indian man who's just always sweating. No good. CSTM, then no volume on this one. AVXL, no good. Greeks, no good, no good, no good, no good, no good. Junk. Is Lulu's earnings out today? Anybody know? Oh, Lulu's may have some juice. What you got here? Yeah, I think these were out today. Woo! So you got, this was at 233. Now it's come down, popped up a little bit, 226. This one we'll add to the list. This one tends to move around on earnings days a decent amount. I like that one. We seeing anything else that's even worth a darn? Let me just check on earnings whispers here real quick. One thing to always do is like sometimes like stocks don't even gap. Like you got to go in and like just check on this is kind of a new phenomenon the last couple earnings periods. You got to almost double check and just see if there's like anything else that's missing. So you got CN Love, Viru, PT 80PN, 80PN, Vince. Right? So there's not very many guys, and that's actually normal. We're on the tail end of earnings season, earnings season is over. So you're not gonna even Vince. But I do like to just double check, right? And just see if there's anything I missed. Because there's been a couple times, like if you remember like Crowd last week, it didn't really gap. So like it just had a flat open and then it was just shredding up and down. And then end of day, it just busted loose. So you got to always kind of be mindful. Like I just like to do a quick double check. Now during earnings season, this becomes more important because there's so many earnings plays out there. And if there's like something that's like a well-known company or something that you've been trading, and it may not show up on the gapper list, you want to just double check over here. Now I know that most of you guys don't like to do that because it requires a little bit extra work, but wake up 5 minutes, 10 minutes earlier and just do it. There's nothing over here. Let's check out this PT real quick. In a hot market, you have to do twice as much studying as in a bad market. Why? In a bad market, you run your scans, right? So you got your TC2000, you got your trade ideas, you got all your different scans, you got your Dash Trader scans going, your equity feed, whatever it is that you use. Hopefully you're not using Thinker shit or FinViz because those are the worst. In a bad market, you run your scans like only 4 stocks pop up. Only 4 stocks pop up. In a good market, what typically happens is there's too many stocks that show up, and then you're ready to shred. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, this PT's junk. All right, so let's talk about the regular watch list. Ali. So Ali was at about 9 million shares in volume. Guys, usually if you can get a stock have a big up day with 10 million plus volume, the first consolidation on it gets hit up and ends up going 70, 80. I like this one. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I like this one for a day two. So what you want to do is, so there was a lid on this at 71. All right, there's a lid on this at 71 yesterday. You can set an alert there. If it busts over 71, we take this thing for day two. All right, if it stays under, leave it alone, because if it stays under, what's typically going to happen is you're going to end up just trading inside the range. JNUG. Now this is actually my favorite play for today. This is frankly should show up on the Gapper list too. But what you got here is $70.70 is the breakout. You got already in the pre, it's going, man, it's not even waiting for us. Fucker. So two strategies to use on JNUG. First of all, if any of you guys are chasers, just raise your hand. Who here is like a chaser? Chuck. Who else a chaser? Colin. Who else a chaser? Any guys that are chasers, you can just raise your nubby little hands. No, I'm just kidding. You probably don't have nubs for hands. You have fingers because obviously you need them for the mouse. But if you are a chaser, you cannot trade JNUG. JNUG, if you buy high, you die on this thing. You buy high, you die on this thing. JNUG does not ORB ever. If it does, it doesn't move clean. JNUG only works on pullbacks. Guys, JNUG is a lifestyle. It is not just, it's not even a stock, right? It's an ETF. It's a lifestyle. JNUG is a lifestyle. To properly play JNUG, you got to JNUG those balls a little bit, right? And that means you got to scale in a little bit, scale out. You got to hit it on dips, but you got to JNUG those balls if you want to play it right. If you chase it, you get shredded. In trading, there's two things you can do. Two things, but only one of them has honor. You can shred or you can get shredded. And those are very, very different. You can shred or get shredded. We want to shred. We don't want to get shredded. If you buy JNUG too high, you will get shredded. But man, you let that thing just kind of settle a little bit, hang out at that 920 EMA, and you JNUG those balls. Woo-hoo-hoo! Man, it's a tickle party, and that's when you're going to get this thing going. Any dips, now that's at 7120, any dips towards the 70 spot or the 920 EMA on the 5 minute, you got to leave it alone. You got to leave it alone. All right, but this is the top of the list, man. This is the top of the list, man. Oh yeah, baby, man. You know what? Frankly, if we weren't such bums, you know, we could just get up early and just hit this thing in the pre-market and be done for the day. But you know, we were all hanging out on the YouTubes. All right, so JNUG looks good. Number 2, SFIX. You know, this thing reversed on earnings and then, so it reversed on earnings and then yesterday it did the reverse of the reverse, which is a double reverse, which is a double inverse to the reverse, which means that it's hot, but it's not, but it could be hot. So watch this levels right around 28. If you do it, then you can reverse the double inverse of the reverse, and that's when you're really getting shredded, but not shredded, you're shredding. And that's where we want to go with this thing. 28 is a good sweet spot on this thing. Watch it, see if it starts to build out its ORB. If it does, we're going to shred. AUPH at this point is like kind of like just a daily trader till it collapses. One thing about AUPH, you can add this thing, you can only hit it on dips. If you really look at how it moves, it really works well, like if you're hitting it on pullbacks to the VWAP. But like if you try to chase and like you're like trying to like you get in a little early, it does not it doesn't work that well. So watch this thing on kind of any big dips. You can use 18. There's 2 levels I'd watch here. So 18 And then there was like a little bit of I wouldn't call it breakout, a little bit of a nub at 1790 or so, 1780. That's where, these are the levels I'm watching. If it busts down at the open, kind of into these levels and support, then what we want to do is look for a 1-2-3 pattern. It's a little bit of a thicker stock. So what a 1-2-3 pattern is essentially, and you do this on hot momentum names, you're going to push down, and it'll essentially just look like a little W, right? It'll look like a little W, and so you got a 1, then you pop up, that's a 2, and then you come back, you make a higher low or a double bottom, that's a 3. So 1-2-3 pattern is essentially just like, it's going to look like a double bottom, but you may get a higher low, but you'll see this W here, all right? A W pattern is just a nice, powerful pattern because a lot of people aren't used to like spotting it. And so when you get a momentum stock, what will often happen is like, see this type of stock, like you would almost think it's a bear flag here, wouldn't you? Like most people would look at it and say like, oh, okay, like it popped down, popped in the EMAs, now it's a bear flag. But you have to remember the strength on the stock. If a stock has overall a lot of strength, then what looks like a bear flag actually reverses and it ends up being a buy spot. That's why looking at the big picture of a stock, the daily chart of a stock, is really the most important feature, the most important thing that you can do on a name. Always look for these kind of thicker names. This GBT, I think this one's got more in it too. 80 breakout, 80's the old high. It trades a little bit thin, but frankly, a little bit thin might be good for some of you guys. XLNX. I like this one. I'm actually watching this one for a swing. I almost entered this at the close yesterday. I'll wait for a little bit of a dip down towards the 50 SMA, but I'm actually looking at this one for a swing. This type of stock, this rounding pattern, this rounding bottom pattern, like when it starts to remount these MAs, you can see it's been getting rejected by the 50 for the last few months. In a hot market, what do people do? When stocks get really, really extended, they start hunting for stuff on the bottom. They start hunting for stuff that's cheap. Semiconductor index is flying. It's up 50% plus for the year. There's only a handful of these that are sitting on the bottom. I like this one for potential swing. You'd really only just be risking this thing down to like 91, so you got a few days. This is one of those ones, like you throw out 300, 400 shares at it, you rip this thing back up into the 100, 110 range over the course of the next few weeks. Cody looks decent for a round 2 breakout. The liquidity stinks right now because it's consolidating. What you want to really look at is the days that it pushes. Those days it has volume. Right now the liquidity stinks because it's consolidating. Biotechs are still hot. Yesterday we had a big biotech list, but none of them went. Why? Sometimes they just have rest days. That's the nature of the game. After a rest day, it becomes more powerful. So bio should be in play today. Yeah, yesterday was just a rest day. So like all these biotechs, you can see some of them. Like I want you to keep these on the list. It was just a rest day for them. Baidu's another one. Taylor, this might be your Korea swing. I think Baidu, if it busts out here, it's going to shred into the 200 SMA. Gut feeling is in 2020, Baidu is one of the hotter stocks of the market. As soon as this China stuff is over with, you may see this thing back at 180, 200. I'll probably look at add some in my IRA for the coming year. All right. Thanks for some John. Yo, so Peloton has been getting smoked on this Citron. So this original smoke-in was because they hired a hot actress to sit on the bike for a commercial. God forbid somebody would do something like that, right? Now, then it ended up popping up. It looked like it's going to break down. Then these goofballs, these little goat fuckers at Citron, just kidding. I love saying words like that, right? That's such an Indian thing to say. Mutton, goats, sheep. That's what we do. Now, these guys knocked this thing down back into the 29s. That's actually a decent-sized drop from 35 to 29. That's a $6 drop. You're starting to, you got a hammer candle right over the 20 SMA. If it busts over the 9 here today, that's a remount pattern. We could probably swing this thing back up. That would be the third test of resistance anyways. I like this one for day trades and maybe even a little bit of a swing. And then all these biotechs I want you to keep on the watch list. Crispies on support. ARWRs on support. You see these days like this, like you see a red candle like that, you're thinking like, oh, like, well, frankly, anytime you have a red candle on a chart, immediately your first thinking is, oh, like the chart doesn't look as good. Now, if a stock is up 3 days in a row and you get one rest day and it just stays inside the range of the previous day, that's actually really bullish. You want to see your stocks rest a little bit. You don't want to see stocks, if you're trying to like long stocks and they're up 4 or 5 days in a row, they tend to get choppy and they run out of steam. But one rest day, that can allow it to build back up power, and now you can get this thing come back out, and it's basing for a breakout. Remember on this particular name, they already did the offering. So they already announced the offering, $267 million. A lot of times when biotechs pop, people start fading them off because they're expecting an offering. You know, this one already had its offering. It's out of the way now. Everybody knows about it. So you don't have that like initial overhang that people get worried about, like these guys got a raised cash. I like that. Then Labu ETF. Keep that on the list. Yo, yesterday LK was getting nailed. If it breaks below, if you look here like on a 30-minute chart, there's your level. If you look at 30-minute chart, if it does not hold 28.50-ish, then we'll probably have to get short this name. At this moment, we'll give it the benefit of the doubt that it's on support. But we had an increase in volume by like 30-40% yesterday, which is not good. And then if you see like from when it peaked out, you just have this is a lower high, this is a lower high. So you got a series of lower highs. If you bust below this, then it's lights out for a little bit on this bad boy. You'll get this thing down maybe into the 26, 25, 24 range. I won't try to short it though unless it really looks like it's going to get below that, because frankly in a hot market a lot of times like a stock can look ugly for a day and it'll hit support and it'll just bounce back up. So you don't want to get in front of a stock. You always got to trade your stocks around levels. So if you have like say ORB pattern, quick pullback pattern, VWAP pattern, and you have a pattern that you're trying to do intraday, but it's stuck in between like a couple levels and it's sandwiched in between them, then you won't have like a lot of probability on the play. So when you trade and you get stopped out of a lot of trades and you're like, oh my gosh, like that, I had a good setup. A lot of times it's because the stock wasn't clean to the upside or downside. That's where you always got to want to look. Like when I'm grading my students' trades on TraderView, that's like one of the things that I see all the time is like, hey, I thought this was an ORB or I thought it was this, and it's true, they was, but you're not trading around the levels clean enough. They're not clean enough. So add LK, watch for two different things. If it breaks under 29, it'll take it to that kind of 28.50 zone, and then after that, you'll be able to really, really shred. And you know what? It very well could bounce because that's the kind of market we're in. So let's hit me up with what are you guys all watching? Let's take a look here. Shop. Ooh, you could add Shop. Shop's gonna have some big range. So when this flag busts here, it's gonna get fun. So I like that one, TJ. What else? What else? What else? What else? Ooh, let me take a look here. Hold on one second. I'm just setting up my main windows here. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Amazon, this one's more rangy. I'm not a huge fan, but we'll take a look. All right, a couple of you guys got Lulu on the list. My one worry with Lulu is if it does not hold under 228, then it's going to remount. It very well may go red to green. What you want to see a lot of times, like with these type of names, like you want to see them really, yeah, like you want to see these things like get shredded to the downside. So that's something like you want to see them start curling, even in the pre-pre. You know it. All right, cool. What else? All right. Yeah, I think Lulu, we'll see. We don't really know, right? Hey, Justin, what's up, man? Justin Butters. That's like just a nice, solid name. Your parents did you well. Seems like a very nice, solid Anglo-Saxon name. Justin Butters. Call me Butters. I like it. Sounds like a cop. Like if you got a mustache going, Justin, you're living. Hey, Justin, so this is a bear flag here. You're totally right. Only 400,000 shares in volume. When you're day trading, there's two aspects of trading. If you're swing trading, you can take stocks where they have a little bit less liquidity because you're going to have less shares. So in swing trading, you typically will have less shares of a stock and you're going for a bigger move. You're going for 3, 4, 5, 6 points on this thing. If you're day trading, you're looking for 50 cents or $1, you're going to have more shares in a tighter stop. If you're day trading, this is not enough liquidity. If you are swing trading, then it is. So when you go in, always be mindful. Am I day trading this? Am I swing trading this? And then play accordingly. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that's, I think, man, we're going to have some fun today. We just got to nail this thing down right. No doubt. No doubt, my friends. Cool. Yeah, I'll get you this layout. Hold on. Cool. Anybody else got any questions? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Go once. APH, come on. We need hotter. All right, let's do this, peoples. Let's do what we do. Let's have some fun.